Hey visual learners! Welcome back to VL Extras, where we unpack tech's wildest stories with a side of sass. Today, we're talking about Andrew John Tulloch, a Perth-born brainiac who told Mark Zuckerberg to shove his billion-dollar job offer where the sun don't shine. That's right. This Aussie, labeled an extreme genius by his mates, said, "Nah, mate," to a reported $1.5 billion to join Meta's secret AI squad. And he's not alone. His partner in crime, Mira Murati, ditched OpenAI to start Thinking Machines Lab, a $12 billion startup that's got Zuck sweating. Buckle up for a tale of brains, bucks, and a big middle finger to big tech. Picture this. It's 2007 in sunny Perth, Western Australia. Young Andrew Tulloch, a lanky kid at the posh Christchurch Grammar School, is already a legend. He's vice captain, debate champ, mock trial star, and snags a silver medal at the International Chemistry Olympiad in Moscow. Oh, he's the kid who makes your report card cry. His dad, Dr. Alistair Tulloch, a big-shot urologist and Order of Australia honoree, calls him modest. Modest. Mate, this guy's family tree is dripping with brains. His granddad was New Zealand's Prime Minister, Sir John Marshall. Fast forward, Andrew jets to the University of Sydney, bags first-class honours and a university medal in math, then zooms to Cambridge for a master's in stats. By 2012, he's in California, building AI at Facebook, Meta for 11 years, crafting machine learning platforms that juggle billions of data points like it's a Tuesday. His ex-colleague calls him an extreme genius. No kidding. He's the guy who makes your calculator feel inadequate. Enter Mira Murati, the Albanian-American tech wizard who was OpenAI's CTO, the brains behind ChatGPT and DALL-E. In September 2024, she's like, "Peace out, OpenAI." And by February 2025, she's co-founding Thinking Machines Lab with Andrew and a crew of AI rebels. Their mission? Build AI that's collaborative, multimodal, and actually gets how humans work.
Mira Murati, former OpenAI CTO, her startup that has been long rumored is officially launched.
Thinking machines. What changed? She just came on the record and gave some friendly interviews and said, yeah, that thing you'd heard, it is happening.
And she did take around 20 engineers from OpenAI to come to Thinking Machines Lab.
She seemingly was somewhat of a Sam Altman critic. The board ousts Sam, puts her in charge of OpenAI, and then she rallies to Sam. Sam comes back, and then she leaves the company. I just feel like that story doesn't make sense. If the board believes in you, many employees, some of whom are now defecting to your company, believe in you, why not just be the leader of OpenAI? If you have a desire to run a company, so you could have run it all. And it really does feel like if she had stuck with the board, she could have won. The biggest theory would just that she read the employee base and felt like Sam was going to win. I mean, the dark theory would be that Sam has some sort of leverage point over her or is a very intimidating figure. It doesn't make any sense to me that she rallied all the team to defend Sam against the board and then leaves and is undermining her old company by building a competitor.
Think AI that chats, sees, and vibes like your best mate. Oh, sir, and it's valued at $12 billion after a $2 billion seed round from heavyweights like Andreessen Horowitz, Nvidia, and Google Cloud. Not bad for a company that hasn't even dropped its first product. Mira's got big plans. A significant open source offering and tech to make AI customizable for researchers and startups. Andrew's in the trenches, building on his OpenAI work with GPT-4o and reasoning models. Together, they're not just coding, they're dreaming of AI that empowers everyone, not just big tech overlords. And Zuck? He's not invited to the party.
Mira Murati just launched Thinking Machines. OpenAI and XAI should be worried. After all, she built ChatGPT, and now she's taking on OpenAI and XAI both. Why did she leave OpenAI? What's a new lab working on? And what does this mean for the future of AI? Let's break it down for you. Mira is not just any AI researcher. She was OpenAI's Chief Technology Officer, leading projects like ChatGPT, DALL-E, and OpenAI's core AI research. Before that, she worked at Tesla, helping develop the Model X. And now she's bringing that very experience into a new era of AI. But if she was shaping OpenAI's future, why did she walk away? Her exit was not just a career move. It's part of something much bigger, a trend. Let me tell you about some of the recent OpenAI departures. Jan Leek, who was the AI safety lead, left over fundamental disagreements. Barrett Zoff, he was the top AI researcher, joined Thinking Machines. Yes, the same AI startup founded by Mira. Some of OpenAI's best minds are now at Thinking Machines. So What is the big idea behind this new lab? Thinking Machines is focused on 3 key areas: helping people adapt AI systems to their specific needs, building stronger AI foundations for more capable systems, and fostering open science and AI transparency. And they are doing all of this with a team that includes the top engineers and scientists from OpenAI, Meta, Mistral. So now the competition is quite literally between Thinking Machines, OpenAI, and xAI. And Thinking Machines is pushing for more transparency and adaptability, while OpenAI and xAI focus on power and scale. One thing is for sure, Mira Murati is not yet done shaping AI's future. What do you think is going to happen next with Thinking Machines?
Picture Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's hoodie-wearing overlord, sweating bullets. His AI game is lagging, Llama 4's a flop, and OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google are eating his lunch. So he tries to buy Thinking Machines Lab for a cool $1 billion. Mira's like, nah, we're good. Zuck doesn't take rejection well. He launches a full-scale raid on Thinking Machines, targeting over a dozen of their 50 employees with jaw-dropping offers. The big prize? Andrew Tulloch offered a reported $1 billion over 6 years, potentially $1.5 billion with bonuses and stock. That's enough to buy a private island and a yacht to park it on. But Andrew, our modest Perth hero, says, no thanks, mate. Not a single Thinking Machines employee jumps ship. Meta's PR guy, Andy Stone, cries foul, calling the $1.5 billion figure inaccurate and ridiculous. Sure, Andy, but those WhatsApp messages from Zuck begging Andrew to join? Real as your VR headset. Why'd Andrew say no? Maybe it's the 10-20% equity he holds in a $12 billion startup.
What would you do if you were offered $1.5 billion for a job? 1.5 billion with a B. I know what most of you are thinking. You would scream, call your mom, say yes even before they finish the sentence. Because who turns down a deal like that? Well, someone just did. His name is Andrew Tulloch. He is an AI researcher, and recently Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg offered him a job that could have been worth up to $1.5 billion over 6 years. But Tulloch said, no thanks. Why did he do that? Well, that's what we'll tell you tonight. Our story begins with Mira Murati. She was the Chief Technological Officer of OpenAI. When Sam Altman was removed, she took his place. She became the interim CEO of OpenAI. This was for a very short while. Last year, Mira Murati left OpenAI, and this year she formed her own AI startup. It's called Thinking Machines Lab. Andrew Tulloch is a co-founder. A few months ago, Mark Zuckerberg reached out to Mira Murati. Meta has been revamping its AI team. They've been looking for AI researchers, so Zuckerberg made Murati an offer. He would buy her new startup. Murati refused. Then Meta reached out to Andrew Tulloch, and they made this eye-watering offer of $1.5 billion. I'm sure all of you are curious. What does an offer like this even look like? As I said, it's not for 1 year. It's $1.5 billion over 6 years. So you can do the math. That's around $250 million a year. And not all of this is in cash. This is not $1.5 billion as cash in hand. This includes stock options and performance bonuses. So if Meta soars, Tulloch would be richer. If it crashes, he would be left with far less. That was the offer. And even if Tulloch gets $100 million in hand, it's still a lot of money. So why did he say no? For multiple reasons. The first one, believe it or not, is mission, or so they say. Yes, money is important, but AI researchers often believe that the mission is bigger, that they're working on something big, almost like the Manhattan Project, the one that created the atom bomb. Also, the Thinking Lab Machines is worth $12 billion. Investors are pouring billions into the startup, and no one knows why. What they're building is apparently a secret and a well-guarded one. So that's one reason. The second one is culture. Places like OpenAI and Thinking Machines are deeply idealistic. They're flat structured. Everyone gets a say. Meta, on the other hand, is very different. There's a lot of office politics. Reports talk about ego clashes. So for some AI researchers, it's not a conducive environment. And the last factor is fatigue. Tulloch is not Zuckerberg's only target. He has tried to poach so many employees from the tiny startup that this feels less like a job offer and more like a siege. And that did not sit right with Tulloch. In fact, this is a remarkable episode, not just because of the pay package and the fact that it was rejected, but because of what it tells you about the AI ecosystem. Top talent is in short supply. There are only about 70 to 80 people in Silicon Valley, and there's a bidding war over them. They're getting contracts like top athletes. They have a lot of fan following. There are relentless recruitment campaigns. I guess all that's left is a Netflix documentary offer. Of course, none of this is new. In the early 2000s, networking engineers were gods. Then came mobile app developers. Now it's AI PhDs. And yet, this time feels a little different. Not because of the big money, but because of the high stakes. These engineers are not just building search engines. They're creating the most powerful technology humanity has ever imagined. Artificial General Intelligence, AGI. So can the AI world justify these salaries? Maybe they can. Whoever builds AGI first will control the world. If an AI researcher helps unlock that, then $1.5 billion might actually be cheap. Having said that, we are still years, if not a decade away from AGI. The AI world is bleeding money. Tangible profits are still a myth. Yet there's no stopping.
Do the math, that's billions in his pocket if thinking machines hits big. Or maybe he just didn't want to work for a guy who thinks reals is the future of AI. Thinking Machines Lab isn't just another AI startup, it's a rebellion. Mira and Andrew are building AI that's open, customizable, and not owned by Silicon Valley's usual suspects. Their $2 billion seed round, one of the biggest ever, screams investor confidence. Nvidia, AMD, Cisco, they're all betting on this San Francisco crew to challenge OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind. Mira's teasing a product drop in the next couple months, with open source goodies for researchers. Andrew's work on GPT-4o's reasoning is just the start. Imagine AI that sees, talks, and collaborates like a human, not a chatbot stuck in 2023. Why'd Andrew ditch Zuck's billions? It's not just the money. His equity could be worth way more if Thinking Machines becomes the next OpenAI. It's about purpose. As Mira says on X, they're here to empower humanity. Zuck's offer? Just a shiny distraction from building something real. Plus, who wants to work for a guy whose big AI plan is more reels? Yawn. So what's the takeaway from Andrew Tulloch's billion-dollar snub? Sometimes it's not about the cash, it's about the dream. This modest Perth kid with his chemistry Olympiad and math medals chose to bet on himself and Mira Murati's vision over Zuck's desperate dollars. Thinking Machines Lab, valued at $12 billion and counting, might just redefine AI. Will it save the world or crash and burn? Only time will tell. For now, Andrew's the guy who said no to $1 billion and made us all wonder, what's your price to sell out? Hit that like button, drop a comment. Would you take Zuck's money? Subscribe to Visual Learner's channel for more tech tales. Until next time, keep learning, keep laughing, and maybe don't bet against an Aussie genius.
No holding back, no closing door. This is my
Lying with a roar, teeth sinking deeper, hunger begging for more. Hands up, let it drop, feel the earthquake. Heavy baseline, make your spirit vibrate. No escape.